So good morning. Good morning. Time since I'm doing it in both places. Let me invite a few folk. And we will begin. Kind of tired. It's been a long weekend. This Pluto and retrograde thing has been pretty interesting. By the way, I'm live at YouTube as well. So if you would like to go there instead, because I really can't see. I don't know what it is with this freaking Facebook thing right now, but trying to see what people are posting is almost in. I have to go out to my phone to see what you guys are saying and who's even out there. Hey, Carol. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but mostly when I'm going live, I guess I do expound on some of the stuff that I'm saying and doing when I'm live, but mostly it's a rehash of my daily post. And but I like to keep notes, and if you guys say anything, I like to be able to write all that stuff down and talk about what I posted. But the Pluto in retrograde thing has been kind of interesting little experience, at least in my case. I don't believe for 1 second that things that happen to us, especially when we're in a spiritual practice, are by accident. And I started a whole different practice just before this thing happened. And a lot of it is sort of like a just more confirmation of being on the right path and doing what I am being called to do as far as my spiritual journey goes. And let me just preface what I'm about to read to you guys or talk about a little bit this morning with, I'm not mad or angry at anybody right now. It just is what it is. And I am trying so hard to find my peace and my direction that there's just things like Pluto is shaking things up. It's like taking a rug outside, an area rug, and shaking it, and the stuff is falling out of it, and that's all okay. Because I think that if you don't do what you are told to do, or you don't really see what you're supposed to be moving forward through, that it will be made abundantly clear to you by whatever gods you pray to. So casualties or blessings of the Pluto in retrograde, because sometimes distance is necessary. Sometimes looking too closely or being too intimately involved with situations or people causes our vision to be skewed. It's like looking at something really, really close and you can't see because it gets blurry. So you have to take a step back to be able to see what it is that you need to deal with. I found that if I don't heed the warnings of my gut or my gods, that I'll pay for that lack of acknowledgement later, and that those people and situations will just fall out of my life. Sometimes I'm really lucky when that happens, and it's just an easy kind of distancing that happens where there's really no work required. People stop talking to each other. We don't call, we don't text, whatever. And that's a really good thing. Sometimes though, when you really don't acknowledge what you're being told, either through your own gut or through what your spiritual connection is, that will ultimately end up being harder, almost like an earthquake. There'll be pain, there'll be disaster, there'll be loud ramifications for not paying attention to what your gods are telling you or what your gut's telling you. I mean, you could go through some serious shit if you don't pay attention to what you're being told to do. I'm trying now to pay more close attention to what my gut and my gods are saying to me. I don't lament anymore over people's character. I mostly acknowledge it for what it is. It doesn't mean that I will toss somebody out at the first sight of trouble, because we're all human. We all have bad days. We all have things that affect us in ways that we might not normally have reacted to situations when those things happen. You could have slept wrong. You could have had something happen with a friend or a spouse or a child or some kind of news that affects your psyche. And so you might ultimately say or do things that you wouldn't have normally done in a normal situation. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about situations that make you feel really super uncomfortable, and that you know this is not good. This is a boundary for me, and this person is crossing it, or this situation that I'm embarking on is not, I'm not safe in this situation. I need to remove myself from this situation. So what I've been doing when that's been happening recently is actually, God, my nose all of a sudden just starts itching. What I've been trying to do when that's been happening is addressing that situation right away. If it's a situation that I'm in, a place I'm going or whatever, I'll remove myself from it. If it's a person that I'm having a problem with, what I've been trying to do is think about what I need to say, and then say what I need to say, and say it in as few words and as succinctly as I possibly can, so that there's no question about what I mean when I say this can't happen again to somebody. And then tell them clearly what the ramifications will be if the situation happens again. And generally for me, what that means is I'm just not going to be around anymore. I'm just going to, remove myself from the situation. My spiritual path has been decades in the making. I've been working on my spirituality for as long as I can remember. Even as a little kid, spirituality was very important to me. I prayed all the time. I went to different churches. I tried to figure out where my path was. And it's brought me to this one realization. And I'm pretty sure that the Pluto in retrograde has brought me to that place, is realizing that I can't clean up anybody's mess for them. And that if I leave the confines of my own task, which is cleaning up my own mess and trying to work on who I am and evolve as a human, I'll end up bringing dirt back from their mess into my own sacred space. And yesterday I had a moment of where I realized that I'm trying to make my home a peaceful spot where it's a respite and a refuge from all the shit that goes on around me. So why in the world would I be inviting chaos and disrespect and boundary crossing things and people into that space? Because when people come into your life and they vibrate, it's just like frequency, right? When you hear a sound off of your radio and you put your hand near a subwoofer, you can hear the beat or feel the beat come off into your hands. People vibrate with a frequency. And even though they might not be sitting in your house anymore or in your car or in your personal space, that frequency is still there. And then we have to deal with that space or that frequency. So it's very important to think about the people and situations that you bring into your space, so that you're not having to constantly clean up the mess of other folk around you. I haven't mastered being able to help without letting my codependency overwhelm me and make me blind to my own dis-ease, and allow my space to be mucked up again. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I know that if I stick around at a place where I'm not respected over and over again, what I'll ultimately end up doing is lashing out, because I'll take it. And my Sag self is one of those kinds of people that I can take a lot of bullshit until finally I can't anymore, and then I explode. And instead of what happens when you end up confronting people and explode that way, or you oh God, my nose, geez. If you just, even if I just end up having to explain why I'm pushing back in as calm a way as I could possibly do it, most people, not all, but most people are not receptive to this is a problem. What they want to do is turn it around and make it about you and not about them. They don't want to examine what's going on with them. And I can't make anybody do that. I don't want to make anybody do that. So I had to think through things. I have to think through, is coming up and confronting somebody actually worth my time? What is going to be accomplished by me saying to them, listen, this is what happened, and this is why I'm not going to be around you anymore? If I decide that boundary has been crossed more than one time and I need to back off of a situation, what fucking good does it do me to tell the person that I'm backing off from, this is what I'm doing? It's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help me. It's just going to so more toxicity that the web will be plucked with, right? And that I'm saying something, even though it's an altruistic thing, it's for my own self-preservation, that's still not plucking the web with peace. If I just push out of it and don't say anything because I need to just move on, then I'm taken care of, they're taken care of, and the problem is solved. At least on my end, I've done everything that I can do to remove myself from that situation and not cause any more trauma to anybody involved, including the people that I'm having the problem with. That's it. So it always, I don't want to have people have to deflect back at me. I don't want anybody to go talk shit about me to somebody else. So I'll just move out of it. It's a load off. As I prayed this morning, I asked for freshness in my approach to my career and social situations. I thank the gods for my small and increasingly diminishing circle. I'm okay for the first time ever and having a quiet, small, and peaceful moments with very few close friends. I know who my family and friends are, and they love me, not despite of who I am, but because of who I am. And for the first time in my life, that's not only enough, but that is worth more to me than anything else I might acquire in my life. Let go and let God isn't some catchy phrase. It's poetic justice, and it's abundant in my life. So that's where I'm at. And it's a real freeing place to be. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I can't teach anybody anything that doesn't want to be taught. I think that if people want to know what the heck is going on, they'll ask. I think that if they don't ask, they either already know what it is and don't give a shit, or they really don't think that it has anything to do with them. And in neither one of those cases, there's nothing I can do. There's no way I can help. There's no way I can fix it. And it's not my job. It's becoming increasingly obvious to me that when any religion talks about a personal relationship with a God, that what that means is you really need to be introspective. You need to be self-aware, and you need to be looking at what your job is in moving forward on your evolutionary path, whatever that is. And you can't walk it for anybody else. They can't walk it for you. You can listen to gurus, you can listen to teachers, you can listen to pastors, you can listen to priests, you can listen to everybody under the sun. But they're really telling you what their path is, just like right now I'm telling you what mine is. I'm telling you what I think works for me and how it's going to help me grow as a spiritual human. But that might not necessarily be your truth. And honestly, all of these little tidbits of things that we're doing and learning right now is just like guidelines for us to actually try to figure out those things that work for us better. So that's really what we need to do, is just kind of pick and choose pieces of other people's stories that seem like they might work for us, and then apply them in our life. It's just like house cleaning techniques, or car cleaning techniques, or writing techniques, or art techniques. All of those things you can be taught by a teacher how they do it. But once you get into it all on your own and you're actually doing stuff on your own, it's going to be your way of doing things. It's not going to be somebody else's thing. Is not going to work for you, because we're all different, right? And we need to embrace those differences and learn how to apply those techniques to our own life so that we can move forward the best way we can. And I don't want anybody's experience to be my experience, and I don't want anybody else's truth to be my truth, and I don't want to color anybody's vision of anybody or any situation. So instead of blowing up and making a ginormous fucking drama out of some stuff that's happening in my life because I'm angry or I'm hurt, I'm stepping out of it so I don't have to be angry or hurt, and I'm just letting things go, because that's the only way I'm going to move forward. If I'm constantly thinking about the shit that went down yesterday or 2 days ago or a week ago or a month ago or 4 fucking years ago, that's holding me back from growing as a person. So hopefully today that helps somebody to figure out how they're going to use different techniques to apply to their life to move forward. And I really hope that I did help somebody today. I know that the God's helped me. So I actually have a listing appointment today. She was calling and texting in the middle of the video. I'm going to call her back here now and do my job, and I'm going to do some exercises, and I'm going to move forward in my day. I hope you guys have a great day. Later we'll do some tarot. Peace.